So, my friend, we are, I think, lesson number 6 and step 2 from the sadhana panchakam. Previously, we have covered that karma. We discussed a little bit about karma, that we cannot live without karma. Karma is a signature of life. So there are some karma that gives the instant result. I appreciate you, you recognize me, and I say some nasty word to you, and you say the same. So it is all about instant result we get of the karma. But then there are karmas, there are actions, we get result much later. You see a person growing, talking in a manner that helps, that gives us a kind of a jealousy, and when we return home, we find the mind is still thinking about that person. So all these actions are influenced by our past impressions, right or wrong perception, or right or wrong understanding. So we also covered last time that what exactly is sadhana, upaya, and abhyasa. So we need to get rid of those impressions caused by the actions, and they get accumulated in the storehouse of the mind. So we understood, in case of a human being, out of 8.4 million species, all the animals, they do not have that ego sense. What is that ego sense? That I'm a doer of this karma, I'm helping you, I'm abusing you, I'm hurting you. That I am is not present. Ego sense. So we have those ego senses present. So that leads us to accumulate the sins and the virtues which we covered last time. That is where the law of karma lives in us. So we know karma that is free from ego sense of being a doer and enjoyer is the right karma. So that right karma does not create any impression in our daily life. Question is how to do it, what to do it. And I gave couple of examples. We want to go to the restroom, we don't have that ego sense. We are eating our food, we don't have that ego sense. We don't have an ego sense for sleeping. So it means there are a lot of karma and the actions that we are doing. I see something that does not accumulate any ego sense. No, seeing is seeing. Eyes are open. So they are also free from the fruits of an action. So what happens why it happens. That is what we need to explore. All karma springs from thought, thought springs from desire, and desire from ignorance. Simple logic. All karma, if there is no thought, there is no karma, but the thought contains an object plus I am, and that object and I am, we have a wrong notion about I am, we have a wrong notion about that object. So that is only because of the desire. And the desire to seek something outside for the sake of happiness comes out of ignorance. Simple way. That I think I have repeated couple of times to you. So we should keep that awareness in mind. But at the same time, it is important to understand the trio, the working of the trio. What is that trio? First is the action, then the ignorance, and then the desire. Avidya, kam, karma. In Gita, we understand, through the Gita, we understand the cycle of birth and death, cycle of suffering in our daily life is caused by the trio, the action that we do because of ignorance, and because of ignorance, we have a binding desire. So I'm separating binding desire, the desire that binds us to seek pleasure in the external world. I cannot live without you. What should I do? I'm a failure. You see, all those statements, I have an anxiety, I have lot of fears. Fear of what? Fear of losing anything outside. So all these are binding desires. Now see, let us become aware. The karma is associated with the body, mind, intellect, ego, and ignorance. When the mind lives in ignorance, when the mind lives in ignorance, the mind projects happiness outside, in the world of people, objects, events, and time. Because the mind projects happiness from the world, it creates desire to own and possess these objects, people for part. You see the entire process. I see a thing, and for example, the smartphone. And then my mind instantly compares the one that I own and the one that I see. Then the mind says that, now you see that the projecting happiness, oh, this new one have more power, it is easy to work, and it gives me more flexibility. But why I'm thinking like this? Because it is the pleasure element there. And that pleasure element goes back to the mind. It says, the mind says, I want to possess it. And so why I want to possess? Not because it has more flexibility. In the end, the ultimate cause is the pleasure. Therefore, the cycle of ignorance, desire, action continues in our day-to-day life. I'm happy with one person and now I'm happy with the other person. The same thing. It accumulates impressions, and impressions triggers the mind with thoughts and feelings. So the entire cycle of ignorance continues. This is what we say in a simple term. We'll go a little deeper later. This is what is known as the law of karma. Now we have to find out what exactly is this cause of ignorance, desire, and action. All the three, or simply take up avidya. According to Eastern wisdom, the world exists because of ignorance, avidya, or incomplete knowledge, wrong notions, and thinking about who truly we are. The desire in the mind is caused by the ignorance, and desire leads to karma, action, and the karma leads to enjoyment that builds the false identity of enjoyer and the doer. Means there is something in us that you can say that pops up. Like the Windows screen, sometime you click and the new window pops up. So in Windows PC we know from where this window pops up, but we forget to, or we lose awareness why that enjoyer and the doer popped up. The false identity of the enjoyer doer continues in our life is called samsara. Samsara means the wheel of life, and the desire arises from the impressions that is already stored, and that is what the cycle of suffering continues. So this second step shows us to understand how to drop and dissolve this trio of avidya, karma, and karma by the mind inside and performing the action outside. So the first thing we should do is to choose what is right and wrong before performing an action, because we have understood action comes from the thought has a desire. So if there is a clarity, what is right, what is wrong, clarity is there in our personal life, in our professional life, in our social life. But we are performing millions of actions every day, small, longer, and sometimes we get instant result, and sometimes the results comes much later. Then how to examine each and every thought, what is right and wrong? You see, another challenge comes to our life. So now, just understanding clearly, in a single way, all our actions, if guided by the desire for fruits and dictated by ego, sense of doer and the enjoyer, that builds the false ego. And as long as the false ego is there, that will definitely dictate the results of our fruits of our action, and that will create a sense of fatigue, anxiety, stress, duality, conflict. And we go back to the same cycle of desire. And we also understand this false identity comes from the vasanas, as we discussed earlier, due to the past impressions. So at least that understanding gives awareness to the mind what is desirable and what is undesirable. Do I need to be angry over you? No. Because first I have to accumulate the idea, the thought, and the feeling of anger, and then I pass on to you. So at least we understand what is desirable, undesirable. Even in extreme circumstances in our life, we hold back. We tell the mind, no more anger, no more anxiety, no more reaction at all. But still, this does not solve our problem. we want to know how to perform the karma. Yeah, it helps us. It minimizes the incidents and events of getting angry, agitated, reacting. Karma driven by the right knowledge makes every karma as play and fun to perform. We are going slowly to find that. So what I said, any action driven by right knowledge makes every karma as a play and a fun to perform. The example I always give to a Hollywood actor, the director of the film explains the actor, the plot, the sequence, the dialogue, the event, the place, the location. And then the director says, come on, 1, 2, 3, act. So he performs an action and the actor performs an action and then he forgets that very event. Why he forgets? Because he doesn't build any ego. Can we perform the action in that way in our personal life, in our professional life, in our social life, in our family life? The answer is yes, but we have to prepare ourselves deeper inside the mind before. What is the plot? Plot is so simple. I am with my honey. I have to perform my role as a honey. I am before my son. I have to perform my role as a father. I am in the business. I have to perform my role as a business owner. I am driving. I have to perform my role as a play and a fun as a driver. So now pay attention to the driver. Driver knows the rules of the road, then only he can perform the right role. Well, if the driver drives speedily, then what will be the consequences? Fine or accident. So now I am driving very fast. I lose awareness in communicating with my honey, so that causes the problem in my life. One example. We are again coming to the final point slowly. So here we say one point. We can discover one point. We need to focus on the very action so that the mind lives in the present, not in the future. And ego sense and the idea, the desire and the feeling of the fruits of an action does not enter into the mind. So focus on the action is living in the present. Living in the present and performing an action is to just play and have fun. Mind lives into that state of the cheerfulness. At the same time, when there is no desire for the fruits of that action, that does not prompt my ego sense, it does not build the ego sense. Now understand again very important point. As we are performing an action, the result, the fruit of that labor is always in the future. So we ask the mind, why to worry about the future? Live in the present. Live in that action. Play your role. So, as you have seen, when we play with small kids, we perform our role as a dad or as a mom or as an older guy with the kids. Our mind remains very full of cheerfulness, play and fun. We always say we play and have fun with the kids. Same way, our mind is full of cheerfulness and we have a play and fun in performing our role as assigned in our family life, as our social life, personal life, professional life. So let us move little deeper, or I would say add meditation part of it. Meditation breaks the law of karma caused by ignorance, desire, and karma. Why? Because it drops the Rajasic guna, it drops the Tamasic guna, it lives in the right knowledge of Sattvic guna, and the Sattvic guna inspires us to keep our goal fixed of realization, of awakening. So what happens? It is constantly purifying the mind when we are working, performing our role well, free from ego sense and fruits of an action caused by trio of ignorance, desire, and action. Still mind says, no, I did not understand. Make it very clear. No doubt, meditation breaks the law of karma. So let us go a little deeper and understand. There are voluntary karmas, action, and there are involuntary karmas and actions. Voluntary karma. So there is a karma that we do voluntarily, and other happens by itself. Now see, the breath is going in and out. That is happening by itself, involuntary. There is no sense of doership. Doer and the enjoyer, no sense of ego. You are eating, yes, but drinking, okay, going to restroom, okay, sleeping, okay, happening. We bring our mind that these actions are happening. Why should I worry? But when I have to talk to honey and honey reacts, that is what I want to ask you. You see that? So the mind habitually, subconsciously has divided the two types of the karma, the voluntarily and involuntary. We eat food, but we don't say, oh, let me digest the food. So if you say that let me sit and digest the food, you are building an ego sense, but that never happens. We know 100% we have to eat the food. The rest is taken care by the involuntary actions. It is happening on its own. I-ness is not associated with it. Karmas such as breathing, beating of the heart, blinking of the eyelids are involuntary. Karmas such as eating to satisfy hunger, drinking water to quench thirst, sleeping are essential to sustain our life. We have to simply say, let me go down and sleep. Go to the bed. Therefore, ego is not associated with it. There is no doership. So we need not to worry about those actions. So check these involuntary actions or karma are no doubt essential, but mind remains free from ego. You see that mind remains free and craving for the fruits of an action. So these karma do not generate any merit or demerit. So when they do not create any merit and do merit. So it means we are not creating those impressions in our daily life. These karma take place naturally. Hence, there is no sense of doership while performing them either. Therefore, they do not entrap us in bondage. Coming to voluntary karma. Free from the desire and the doer and the enjoyer. One option, and with a tremendous desire for the fruits of an action and the doership. Not as a play and a fun. We have two options. So we perform voluntary karma with ego and the seeking fruits of a desire behind the karma in the mind. Now see, karma is done as it is, outside. I'm talking to you, so I'm talking to you. But what is the intention, feeling in the mind? That makes the difference. Is the mind clear, focused on an action? Or the mind is full of desire for the fruits of an action with a tremendous ego that I know more than you. So it means ego has been, I have separated you from you, me from you. Or there may be an intention, I'm conveying the message to you what you already have it. I'm facilitating to make you understand. Then, internally I'm totally different. To think is the karma of the mind. When our thoughts match with those of others, meaning when they are favorable, we become happy. That is another point. I have an ego sense, say for example in speaking, and you appreciate it, so I find my talk gives me a favorable condition, but that will destroy me. I have to speak what is right, what is based on the teachings of the Eastern wisdom. Let me facilitate that understanding. Let me explain that principle. So then, where is the ego senses left? There is no ego sense left. Is there a desire for the fruits of an act seeking an appreciation? The answer is no. And when that is absent, our action becomes play and fun. We perform all those actions as above. Still, we have to understand the mind still is not 100% clear how to perform our action in our daily life. So what I'm doing, I'm adding one principle here and there, and gradually we will directly come to the point. And we are still answering how to perform our daily actions. So let us talk a little bit about the seeker. The seeker is not a workaholic and I'm fully busy, because there is a wisdom that works behind every karma in the intellect and purified state of the mind. So we are understanding that we are a seeker. And so who is a seeker? So if that understanding is clear, then we will directly approach that question. He, the seeker, never gets into anxiety and does not carry forward the burden of karma for the next day. Are you getting it? It doesn't mean he does create an agenda, but he keeps himself free from the desire for the fruits of an action and free from the ego-driven attitude. Very good. Now, the seeker may be a driver, a teacher, an employer, a businessman, a homemaker, performs karma with a calm, peaceful, and cheerful mind. all the time. And that choice lies with us. A seeker is absence of hesitation, anxiety, anger, aggression while performing karma. In any situation, even the mind realizes it is unfavorable situation. In the deep inside your mind, you are performing your action free from anger, anxiety, anger and depression. The seeker performs karma with a focus on the karma, neither on the world outside nor on the fruits of action in the mind. We can lay out, we can create certain principles. So what I'm doing, whatever we have understood until now, so we are putting them into some kind of a steps in a route. The seeker has a kind of self-absorption in that action he is performing. And that self-absorption gets away with the ego sense, and that the seeker does not allow karma become a representative of ego. The seeker's mind is free from the thoughts like I should be appreciated, why people do not notice me, I will perform the karma to seek recognition, because you don't recognize me, hence I will leave you forever. Look at this. So seeker does not allow the karma to become a representative of ego. It is important to focus on the karma than on the results. One thing is sure, my friend, whatever the action that we perform, the result is always there. We are not talking of good, bad, high, low, favorable, unfavorable. Result is always there. But at the same time, that result defines the basic nature of karma. What is the basic fundamental nature of karma? The fundamental nature of the karma, it is defective. Why it is defective? Because it gives the result in pairs of opposites. It gives you either pain or pleasure, profit or loss, victory or defeat, sorrow and happiness. We can never be sure any karma gives me the result only what I have thought of in the mind. And what I have thought of in the mind is the desire. But the action is defective. It gives the results in pairs of opposite, either this or that. Then, what should I do? Should I focus on the fruits of my action? No, I should focus on the action part. The visible fruits of an action are physical. We perceive it physically. Subtle are mental. Reaction, anxiety, overexertion, pleasure, peace. And then causal creates tendencies. So again, I'm repeating in a different way that every action is defective. I performed an action, for example, I have spoken to you. It is going into your mind. So physical action, if you are in front of me, obviously you may hide something, but at the outset, at the outer level, you feel like appreciating me. So first action, at the subtle level, you like the talk or you don't like it. So again, or at the causal level, because of these impressions. At the causal level, it is creating tendencies that is deposited in the mind, and it will be spent later in the future. What we are understanding, now we are coming directly. How to perform karma in my daily life means here and now. I am with my honey. I am with my kids. I am with my employees. I am a business owner, or I am an employee or an employer. So you see, our master shows us that all the karma can be classified into 5 folds. All karmas can be classified into 5 folds. It's an innovative approach. I think our masters taught us more than 10,000 years ago. Every master knows this. So what are those 5 types of karma? See the innovative approach. We don't say karma in your family life, karma in your personal life, karma in your etc. etc. So first is known as the nitya karma. Second is known as naimitya karma. Third is known as kamya karma. Fourth is known as nishiddha karma. Fifth is known as prayaschitta karma. Nitya karma, daily work. Naimitya karma, second group is occasional duties. Kamya karma, karma which is obsessed by the desire. Nishiddha karma, prohibited karma. Prayaschitta karma, karma that we do if we have done something wrong. What we say, I'm sorry, I'm extremely sorry, that comes under prayaschitta karma. So there are 5 types of karma, in one way to understand it. First karma is nitya karma, the daily activities. Nitya means daily. Nitya karma are that actions that is performed daily. Now add one more word. Nitya karma is prescribed karma. As the doctor gives us the prescription medication, I have to take it to get rid of the illness. So these are prescribed karma. We have to take it to get rid of ego sense and desire for the fruits of an action. Now, nitya karma is a daily karma. Daily karma is prescribed karma. And they, nitya karma, prescribed karma means they are the duties and responsibilities of a person depending on the conditions of the family, relationship, profession, and external factors. Prescription means it is mandatory to do it. What is mandatory to do it? Duty and responsibility. So I have to perform the karma as a duty, as a responsibility. First type of karma. And it is prescribed, means nitya karma should be done regularly, daily, without fail, otherwise non-performance of them causes demerit, results in distraction, anxiety, pain, and the suffering. Now there are 2 parts of it. If I don't do the prescribed karma, that is nitya karma, I will be punished. So make the mind clear. But if I perform the nitya karma, which is prescribed as a duty and responsibility, I don't get any reward. So I have to perform the karma. It is prescription. Did you get it? I laid the foundation in the talk in the beginning about these 5 types of karma. So, the performance of the nitya karma leads to calm, peace, relaxation, focus, goodness. The performance of the nitya karma also leads us to remove the defects in the personality and destroys the negative attitude and behavior. I believe you are getting it. Be very clear. Prescription, bitter pills, I have to take it. I take it, it helps me. I don't take it, the sickness remains as it is. Sometimes what happens, we go to a doctor, the doctor says, here are the pills, you have to take it for a week and come back to me for follow-up. So after 2 days of taking the pills, we feel better, we forget to take the pills for another 3 and 4. No, that is not the meaning of the prescription medication. Same way this prescription of the duty, that is known as the nitya karma, we have to perform it until we leave this planet. Why? I will not get any reward, but I will earn demerit if I don't perform these duties. So now see what is duty and responsibility we have added. What is my duty as a driver on the road? What is my duty as a husband? What is my duty as an employer? What is my duty and responsibility? Let me perform it. You should be ready to perform it every time, every moment in life. The Master carefully declares that performance of the nitya karma does not bring any merit. So it means what? Hey honey, can you buy me for this? And I have the resources. Yes, I will buy for it. Why should I buy? Where to buy? No, I will not like to buy. Or I don't explain the right situation and event in my life. Then what is going to happen? I am not performing my duty. What is going to happen? Conflict. Because they are ought to be done, duty and responsibility means they are ought to be done without fail, but if not done, on demerit and disturbs the mind. Simple, if you are a teacher, what is your duty? It is teaching of a subject of which you are an expert. When you are in a class or a school, your duty is to teach after preparing the topic very well. But of the same, you perform the karma of teaching with a focus on the teaching topic, neither on the ego nor on the fruits of an action. When you perform your duty without fail and with a focus on the karma, with a mind free from the ego and the desire for the fruits, it means you are performing the action with your duty and responsibility. We all play different roles in daily life. A father, mother, wife, husband, son, daughter, employer, homemaker, etc., etc. So nitya karma means karma must be done, but with a focus on play the role as a duty and responsibility. For example, in school, if you are a student, perform the job of being a student. So simple. That is what the nitya karma is. So now the second karma is naimitya karma, or sometimes it is known as nimitya karma. We say nimitya karma is occasional duties, should be done carefully with the same attitude in the mind as duty and responsibility. Attending a marriage function, your friend called you, your brother called you, sister called you, mom called you. Social events. So we have to carefully understand those events. Don't put cocktail event under the nimitta karma. That is not occasional duties. There are occasional duties like going to the hospital when near and dear ones become sick, any celebration organized by friends and relatives, attending service, functions, marriage. So that is also our duty and responsibilities. Remember, when we perform these two types of karma in our daily life, it is duty and responsibility. They must be done. And when we do it, we don't get any reward, so we are not expecting any reward. But if we don't do it, we are punished by anxiety, duality, conflict, hatred, like, dislike, and that will further accumulate the impressions, and the cycle of suffering will continue. Now come to the third type of the karma. The third type of the karma is known as kamya karma. Kamya means desire. The kamya karma is desire-ridden action for everything, for every relationship, for every thought that comes out of the desire. It makes the life crazy, lazy, obsessed, reactive. For everything we have a desire. Is that the life? So that is known as kamya karma. Why I explained the trio factor of ignorance, desire and action, that leads to kamya karma. 99% of our actions falls under this category. And we need to change that. As explained previously, that is why I picked up those topics first, before explaining the 5 different types of the karma. So the kamya karma accumulates tendencies and it creates the cycle of suffering continues. Those people who experience unfavorable circumstances, conditions, duality, conflict in daily life, it is because of the kamya karma. And I have seen people from the day one, if you drop this kamya karma from the mind, you feel relaxed and calm. Aggression and reaction drops down. So this kamya karma does not fall under the duty and the responsibility. But we undertake it. Third karma. The fourth karma is known as nishad. Fourth type of the karma is known as nishiddha karma. So nishiddha karma means prohibited. Nishiddha karma is the karma that must be prohibited at all cost. I will teach you a lesson. Prohibited karma. Who am I to teach you a lesson? I will settle the score. Forget about it. Why? If we do not leave and drop and destroy the prohibited karma, we have to pay a heavy price of suffering, of duality, of conflict. Take a simple example. speed driving. We have to fall one day, prey either to an accident or a fine. We do these nishadha karma in our daily life because of scientific advancement. We pick up the phone every second if there is a buzz. We like to hurt others. We do rash driving. We always like to criticize others without any reason. We like to blame, complain all the time. They come under nishadha karma, prohibited karma. The last one comes prayaschitta karma. Prayaschitta means repenting on the wrong karma that we have done. I know, say for example, a person knows a subject much better than the other and he dominates and dictates. When he returns home, his mind thinks, realizes that was an ego sense I did it. Knowledge is independent. Anyone can acquire the knowledge. So there, that guy repents on it and by inducing the calmness and says, I will not repeat the same thing again. I will not dominate based on the information that I have that gave me the expertise. I will shift that to the nitya and the naimitya karma as a duty and responsibility whenever there is an occasion. So the 5 types of karma. Nitya karma, naimitya karma, duty and responsibility. Prescribed karma. Don't do it, punished. Internally and externally. If you do it, no reward. Hence, I have to do it as a duty and responsibility. So simple, but challenging to implement. Why? Kamya karma comes in between. So we have to drop the kama karma. Unprescribed karma. Nishadha karma, prohibited karma. Prayaschitta karma, repenting. So there are secondary karmas, like we say upasana karma. Upasana karma, you wake up in the morning, first few minutes. Don't allow any desire to come. Om Namah Shivaya. Just chant it. Or Shantoham. Or contemplate and reflect about the goal of life. Every day without fail. And check every week how many times you forgot. The number of times you forgot because of kamya karma. Same thing you apply before going to sleep. Desire wants to sleep, but my mind is so much obsessed with the kamya karma that I continue to sleep with those desires, with an ego, sense, and with the fruits of an action. Then how can I sleep? Or even if I get a sleep, in the sleep I'm increasing the impressions and the tendencies of those desires. Then how we can succeed in meditation? A lot of stuff is there to understand as you continue. So daily karma also comes, daily karma includes, if I say nitya karma, also includes purification of the body, cleanliness of the body, not only the cleanliness of the mind, cleanliness of the house, cleanliness of the place where we are, cleanliness of the car. Why? It keeps our awareness intact. and builds a new relationship with objects, people, things. But we should not overdo it. This Nitya Karma also includes learning the principles and practices passed on to us by the masters every day without fail. Doing meditation practice without fail. Paying respect to our elders and relations without fail. Treating our guest without fail with humility and kindness. So, understanding from today what we are going to do, find out the categories of the karma based on Nitya Karma, Naimitya Karma, and Kamya Karma, Nishiddha Karma, and Prayaschitta Karma. 2 karmas, duty and responsibilities. Prescribed karma. We do it, no reward. We don't do it, punishment. Kamya karma, we do it, always punishment, because it accumulates all the impressions. Nishiddha karma, prohibited karma, we do it, we are punished. We don't do it, we don't get any reward. In last 15 years, I did not get even a single ticket in driving. And once I got the ticket, that was the problem of the cop, and I fought it in the court and I won it. No reward if I'm driving safely, cautiously. But if I drive carelessly, I'll always be punished. Think in that term. Keep your mind aware and open. So once we follow these 5 rules, 5 types of the karma, and you apply in your life, within a week you will find a tremendous change.